This week I'm cruising over in Alaska, and since I'm on a cruise ship, I thought this week I would actually catch up on something I need to do, which of course is our email inbox. I've gotten so many questions from all of you for our listener question segment that today's episode is dedicated just to that. Our first email is from Peter. Ahoy, Matt! We're sailing on Symphony of the Seas in July out of Galveston. Our Costa Maya snorkeling excursion, booked through Royal Caribbean, was canceled recently, and there aren't a lot of other strong options for us to do instead. Do you know what the current state of things are like in Costa Maya now? Is it impacted by Perfect Day Mexico construction? We've only ever really bummed around and gotten back on the ship wall at this point. Is there something we should do that I'm not thinking of? We're ziplining in Roatan and going to Paradise Beach in Cozumel. I'm not opposed to putting my drink package to work by the pool on board that day, but I'd welcome any expert input you have to offer. Thanks. It's a good question, Peter. I mean, there are a couple different options. Certainly staying on board the ship, especially because you're going to be going on, a big ship out of their Symphony of the Seas. You could make the argument, listen, one day you pick to stay on board, and that wouldn't be a bad option. So let's not poo-poo that one. I would say if you're looking for something to do in Mahahual, right now the port is still operational and the port area hasn't been changed. I'm sure this, actually I looked at the date of this email. This was sent before the whole drama going on with Perfect Day Mexico and some of the issues they're having with the government there. Suffice to say, your cruise in July I don't think will be a construction zone, so I don't think you'd have to worry about that aspect. I mean, the port of Costa Maya is a tourist trap. There is a very nice pool in this tourist trap, and there are some shops that are lovely, but I mean, it's about as authentic as your local mall is at home. That being said, my top recommendation for something to do in Mahahual, if you're looking to do it, would probably be Blue Reef. Jamie's at Blue Reef. It's actually Jaime's, but since we're Americans here, I think primarily we'll pronounce it Jamie so you know how to spell it. It's not booked through Royal Caribbean. If you Google it, it's an independent operation. I've been there a couple times. Wonderful little setup there, right on the beach. Great area. This is an all-inclusive type option where all your food and drink are included. There's obviously, you get a chair, you get an umbrella, you have access to the beach there. It's a nice little setup. I really like that quite a bit. I think the pricing is pretty darn good. The other thing to really consider doing would be the Choctobin ruins. They're one of the better Mayan ruins you can see. There's no tender boat required like you would in Cozumel. The only issue is you're going in July, and I don't know about you, Peter, but July in the jungle in Mexico seems like a punishment to me. I mean, I'm sweating just thinking about it. The humidity, the heat, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know how often you cruise. Perhaps this is your only opportunity to see the Mayan ruins, so that might be something to consider as well. But otherwise, yeah, staying on the ship is not the worst option ever. You have the drink package, and more importantly, you want to take advantage of what the ship has to offer, and it's really nice when you do have, of course, a port day that you can stay on board to enjoy it. Our next email is from Shannon, who writes, I'm a newbie cruiser. As of this email, I've never been on a Royal Caribbean ship. Setting sail on Star of the Seas in September, and I've already booked my second cruise on Harmony. Is it possible to love a cruise line having never been on their ships? Because I do. I love that. All right, so Shannon's sailing on Harmony December 30th, 2027 to January 8th, 2028. Is there anything different about a holiday cruise that we should know? Will the ship be decorated for Christmas? If so, does Royal Caribbean go all out on the decorations American style? I hope so, but either way, I'm very excited. This will be our second cruise with Royal Caribbean. Thanks for the valuable info. It's appreciated more than you know. So yes, because your cruise actually goes over New Year's Eve, number one, it's a New Year's Eve cruise. That's the primary draw here. There's going to be a New Year's Eve party. Your entire ship will offer different parties throughout the ship. So the Royal Promenade will have that New Year's Eve people shoulder to shoulder, standing around countdown party. There will be a DJ party, probably in Studio B. There will be a pool deck party up on the pool deck, obviously. There'll be something going on in Boleros. They have different theme parties for different types of vibes. And even quiet areas, actually. It's something I learned when I was on Freedom of the Seas for a New Year's Eve cruise. It's kind of neat. They have all those different options for you. So it's going to be an over-the-top party. You'll get a letter in your cabin with explaining to you, okay, if you want to go here, it's this and all that. The ship will still be decorated for Christmas. The Christmas decorations go up right after Thanksgiving, and they stay on until probably, I'm willing to bet, the day you get off the ship, the Christmas decoration will come down as well, if not maybe towards the end of your sailing. But you will have them when you board Harmony of the Seas on December 30th. They will have Christmas decorations there. I mean, they're definitely over the top in the sense that there'll be a lot of them. I'm not sure, like, it's not going to resemble National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation by any means in the Griswold house, but I think there'll be plenty for you to enjoy there. So I think it'll be kind of fun, and it's definitely a neat way to enjoy that. Next email is from Preston from Phoenix, Arizona. I followed your YouTube videos for a while now. It wasn't until last year that I discovered your podcast on Spotify. I've been wanting to take a cruise with 10 to 15 of my friends. I did one back in 2023 on Ovation to Alaska with only one of my friends. I have seen this trend where 10 or more friends all go on a cruise together. Now, most of my friends probably couldn't afford to pay for a full price. Does Royal Caribbean or other cruise lines offer group discounts? If going with these many people, is there a way to book multiple cabins next to each other? What is your advice or tips for making this doable? FYI, I would love for my email to be answered in an upcoming podcast. Well, here you go. Wish granted. So the answer to your question is yes, there are groups certainly. And yeah, it's kind of a discount, but kind of, sort of. All right, let me explain. Number one, what you want to do is work with a travel agent, Preston. You want to reach out to like MEI Travel, who's our sponsor here on the podcast or whatever, and say, listen, I have a group of people who want to book a cruise. The thing is, you need to have typically, and this is typical, I'm going to give you generalizations. Your travel agent can give you more information. But typically what you want to have for a minimum for a group is about 8 cabins with at least 2 people in every cabin. Again, this is generalization. There are some exceptions to this, but that's the minimum requirements for one. If you were to do that, Preston, you, as the tour leader, tour coordinator, would actually qualify for money back. You would get a percentage of the total value of everybody's room back to you. Now, you could divvy that up amongst your friends. You could pocket the money and tell your friends, what discount? There's no discount. What are you talking about? you can do a lot of different things. Your travel agent will spell it out for you, blah, blah, blah. But there is not like, oh, if we book 10 cabins, it's 10% off the cabins automatically or anything like that. It doesn't work that way. The discount I'm talking about, again, generalization, comes after final payment date, and everyone's got to pay full price regardless of that. But your travel agent can't help coordinate, yes, getting the rooms next to each other. I mean, it's all based on availability, but that definitely is doable. But it sounds like you really want to get working with a good travel agent who can not only help assist you booking with, but also maybe identify a good sailing or two that has some really competitive rates. It's interesting. A friend of mine is doing something similar, Preston, in January on Jewel of the Seas. And he found a great deal on a cruise where like the prices are really cheap because it's January. Everyone basically just went on Christmas vacation. They're back in school. It's a 4-nighter on an old ship, blah, blah, blah. Like all these things kind of like work towards getting a pretty affordable price. Anyway, a travel agent can help you identify some of those, Preston, and find a really good option for you. Our next email is from Andrew Newman. Hi, Matt. I've got a lot of upcoming Royal Caribbean sailings booked for every school holiday imaginable up until next summer. When I heard about Celebrity Group Cruise next summer with Royal Caribbean Block, I thought I'd look into that. My wife and I are from Scotland, mid-30s with 2 young kids. My question is, what is the typical demographic of your group cruises? Is it mostly couples? Are there any families with kids? How many people typically join you on the group cruise? Never done one, and I've always wondered those kinds of things. So, good question. We have a good mix, I would say. I mean, number one, like on this cruise, I'm bringing my kids. My kids are, teens, right? And we get a good mix of families, couples, older folks. I really believe in my heart of hearts we have a good mix of folks. So certainly you bringing kids, 2 young kids, you are more than welcome. I have always felt that I wanted to offer, when I have my group cruises, I want them to be welcoming and inviting and inclusive and not be like, oh, if you got kids, we really don't want you to come in here. Like, what a terrible thing to say to somebody who listens to your blog or reads your stuff. Like, I mean, no, we want you there. And we have it. I've got kids. So yes, bring them. Andrew, absolutely. They're more than welcome. It is a celebrity cruise. So obviously on board the ship, while there is a kids club on Celebrity, it won't be as many things to do for kids on board, but part of the reason we booked this cruise was because of the itinerary. I mean, my goodness, a very port-intensive cruise visiting Iceland. We're going to spend a lot of time off the ship, so we're less ship-dependent, and thus, I don't think we need as many kids things on board. But we usually get about, and again, it depends on the sailing and variety of factors, but somewhere between 60 to 100 people on board the ship. Again, it depends on a variety of factors there. So hopefully, Andrew, you'll be able to join us for that as well. Next email is going to be coming to us from, where is the name here? Oh, it's from Clark. I can't read. Hi, Matt. On a scale of Falmouth to Coco Key, what are your top port destination suggestions globally where you walk off the ship and you're easily right in the middle of plenty of things to do within walking distance? And if you don't have anything specific planned in advance, you still have a great day. In Europe, this is very common, right? I mean, name a port other than like Rome, which isn't the case. Le Havre in France, another one. But like, you know, there are so many places. Like when I was on Silver Sea and we went around Spain, every port, we docked right downtown. There were things to do right there. In Norway, when I've done cruises to Norway on Royal Caribbean and Silver Sea, same thing. Every port, there was a lot to do there. Granted, you required some buses there. When you dock in a city, there is plenty to do that, and that's the real advantage here. You don't find that in the Caribbean as much. You find that in Europe in spades. So, but if you're talking, and you said globally, so that's the thing. I mean, like, you know, Bergen, Norway, Oslo, Norway, those ports had plenty over there. Any port that I visited in Spain, Malaga, Cadiz, Valencia, Alicante, Barcelona, all of them. I mean, you dock and you're in the city. I mean, you can easily hop on a bus. But I think the best ones are definitely ones where you like walk off the ship and bam, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Great example. You are literally in Old San Juan. You're right in the heart of the tourist area. Plenty to do over there. That's a biggie. Juneau, Alaska, another one. I think most of the ports in Alaska actually all are like that. Skagway is a great example of one as well. So you can pretty much add all of Alaska to those. San Juan definitely is like fantastic. Oslo, Rotterdam, Hamburg wasn't. Hamburg required a fairly long car ride, so I wouldn't put that one in there. But it's really going to be, if you're looking for where you can easily be plenty of things to do right off the ship. I mean, anywhere in Europe. You're other than like I say anywhere in Europe, but there are some exceptions. You know, they have ports like Rome and Bordeaux and Le Havre, and they call it actually Paris. But like, you know, you're an hour away from those actual cities. So it's really the smaller ones, Norway, Northern Europe, where you see a lot of that, and certainly in the Med as well. It's just kind of hope that answers your question there. Also, does the color / appearance of your SeaPass card change as you climb the loyalty tiers? Or does everybody get the pink, purple card? Wondering if you show a card with a higher status when you're trying to get a dinner reservation at the casino, does the crew treat you any different? Great question. Yes, once you get to Pinnacle, you get a special colored card. On older ships, it's gold. On newer ships, it's like more of a rainbow color. The idea, does it affect it? Theoretically, I mean, officially, no. Theoretically, yes. Like, this is why a lot of Pinnacle Club members wear the Pinnacle Club pin, which I don't. But they believe in their heart of hearts that if crew members see it, they treat you differently. They treat you better, rather. That's more, I don't know if there's any scientific evidence behind that, but some Pinnacle Club members swear by it. And that's the idea. Same thing for suites, right? Suite guests also have special colored room key cards. And again, to easily identify them for crew members, and whether or not you're at a busy bar and a bartender sees your SeaPass card, he's like, oh, this guy's in a suite, or this gal's a Pinnacle member, I'm going to go help them first. Perhaps. You never know. I mean, it's debatable, I would say, but yes, the SeaPass color only changes when you get to Pinnacle. For every other tier, Diamond Plus, there's no difference with that, and that's kind of they're all the same otherwise. So there you go. Next question is from Alex from Alabama. Hi, Matt. Love your blog. I used to be a diehard Royal Caribbean cruiser, but nearly 20 years ago, I jumped the ship. This fall, I'm coming back to Brilliance, so I'm out of the loops big time. Couple things. I have Diamond Plus a long time. I have 223 points. When I cruised last time, it was October of 2007, round trip Hawaii on Radiance. I love those ships. Back then, there were no pins, let alone the crystal block. Is there any way I can get one and the pin? Crown Anchor hasn't been very helpful either. For that question, you go to the loyalty desk. When you get on board the ship, go there, ask them. Usually they'll be able to help you out there. I mean, the phone call, you're right, they don't really do much. But at the loyalty ambassador desk, I think you'll be okay to just seek them out, and you should hopefully be able to help you out there. So, Alex's other question is, if I could have my choice. Oh, you mean the block? For the block, no, you're out of luck. You got to wait for your next milestone. For the crystal blocks, that's just it's just, yeah, you didn't get them back then. They didn't exist back then. But the next time you hit a threshold, that would be the case. But you actually, he wrote here, if I had my choice, it could be Majesty of the Seas. They don't have those anymore. It's not like a secret vault of them. Like, yeah, no, they don't have that there. So, yeah. And then the other question is, if I get the photo package for 10 photos, can I add another one since I'm Diamond Plus to make it 11? Yes, I mean, you don't add one. They're just separate transactions. So basically, you get 10 photos included with your photo package. Cool, that's separate. In addition, what you would do, Alex, is when you go, if there's an 11th photo, you would go order a single print of the 11th photo, and then during checkout, you can apply your Diamond Plus discount to get your free option there. So hopefully that answers your question. Good stuff. Thank you, Alex, for the email. Next email is from Susan Widowson. This is for the listener with the questions on a pre-cruise tour in Alaska. When we did a southbound Alaska cruise, we planned a pre-cruise tour on our own to just get what we wanted. Our MEI travel agent didn't know enough about Alaska, so we used Alaska Tour and Travel, and we were very pleased with the service, plans, and especially the pricing. About half of what we would have paid if we made reservations on our own. We were able to get the exact itinerary and accommodations we wanted. After prepaying for the tour, we were sent a detailed packet of information that gave step-by-step instructions for everything, including phone numbers for hotels and excursions. Because it was all prepaid, we never had to wait in lines like other people. We just showed our itinerary and ID and were given our room key or shown to the front of the line. I highly recommend Alaska Tour and Travel for any trip to Alaska. Thank you, Susan, for that recommendation there. I appreciate that. Ryan has our next email for us. Hello, Matt. Wife, son, and I are getting ready for our Star of the Seas for the first time in an Icon class. My question for you is, my wife and I are thinking about renting the Hideaway in-pool daybed, adults only for sail away. It's at a very reasonable price, and we thought it'd be a beautiful viewing area to watch ship leaving Cape Canaveral at the time of sail away. My son will be almost 18. How strict are they about the age limit to get in the adults only area? Is it like the Solarium and the Waste class, where as long as they act 18, nothing really is said? I would hate to book such a beautiful location and only be able to enjoy it with my wife and leave our son out. You and your team keep up the great work. Faithful fan, sunshine, and whiskey. So, Ryan, the answer to your question, of course, the official policy is to be 18 years old, and just like the Solarium, it's the same policy. What you choose to do there, I'm not the arbiter. I'm not the Solarium police or the Hideaway Beach police or Hideaway Pool police, but it is definitely the same rules for Hideaway as it would be the Solarium, because they're both just the adult only areas. So, hope that answers your question there. We have our next question coming to us from Christine. Oh, Charlie. Where did I get Christine from? Oh my God. Charlie Patine. Sorry, Charlie. I just watch your Royal Caribbean blog every week on YouTube. Thanks for the info. Just a few questions. What happens if you book the Royal Beach Club or Cocoa Key Club, rather. I think Cocoa Beach Club. And it rains. You lose all your money. No. I mean, it depends. Officially, those things you book are rain or shine. When you go to the Royal Beach Club or you go to Cocoa Key, it's rain or shine. There's no provisions to get a refund if it rains. And keeping in mind, by the way, Charlie, rain in the tropics, like the Bahamas, is very common. But it doesn't usually rain all day. Usually, it might rain for an hour, it might rain for 10 minutes, it might rain, whatever. But that's not unheard of. It's fairly common, especially if you're cruising, anytime in the summer months. The difference is, if it's an all-day soaker, let's say, which is pretty rare, but have there been situations in which the weather is so bad that Royal Caribbean, even though it's not the policy, offers a refund? Yes, but that's more of a your mileage may vary, how much do you complain, blah, 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 blah. Officially, the policy is rain or shine, it's yours to use, and if you go there or not, that's up to you. But there's no refunds for rain. Number 2, is there a way to see what other ships will be at Cocoa Key? Yes. There are unofficial ways. Royal Caribbean doesn't provide the information, but there are a lot of websites like cruise timetables and other similar sites where you basically look it up. They're free to use, and you just go there and you put in your date and the port, and you kind of see, okay, here's what's scheduled. They're not like 1,000% accurate. I would say they're 98% accurate, but usually it's pretty good. The issue is when itineraries get changed, they never get updated. So that's the only issue, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what to expect. Yeah, it's better than nothing, certainly, and gives you an idea. So thank you, Charlie, for that email. Our next email is from Jonathan. Hi, Matt. We just returned from our first ever cruise on Symphony of the Seas, a 7-day sailing out of Port Liberty to Port Canaveral. Coco Key, and Nassau. Your team's videos and your blog were essential in us having a smooth and wonderful experience from embarkation to debarkation. Also, we enjoyed the fresh kosher dining option recently added to certain Royal Caribbean sailings, and meant that those of us who only eat kosher food could have the same kind of excellent quality and quantity meals as other passengers on the ship. If you'd be interested to write up, I'd love to hear it, but we'll absolutely be back for more in the future. Again, my deepest thanks for everything you did to make our first cruise so amazing. Be well, Jonathan. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate the kind words. I'm so glad you had a great time on there. The kosher options are interesting. Ordinarily, they offer kosher food, but in a lot of cases, like the microwave meals, which I've tried them like once or twice. They're not great. But there are certain sailings, select ones, in which they offer like a kosher kitchen, which is amazing that Royal Caribbean does that. And wow, I'm glad to hear that it worked out really, really well, Jonathan. That's fantastic. Good stuff there. Our next email, love this one. This is probably our last email today. It's from David Stewart. Good afternoon, Matt. Our family recently got back from a 7-day Western Caribbean cruise on Liberty of the Seas. Since this was our first cruise, I wanted to be informed, and in addition to your great blogs, I watched many hours of videos and read quite a bit of cruising. Though having done all that, here are 8 things I wish I had known. Many of these weren't ever discussed in anything I'd ever seen. By no means are these top 8 tips on cruising, but lesser known tips that I recommend, which I love this. All right, here we go. Number 1, regardless of which internet package you choose, neither package includes the chat through the Royal Caribbean app. This is an additional $1.99 per... That's wrong, my friend. The app is free. It used to cost money. I mean, you're right that the internet pack... Let me put it this way. Royal Caribbean app's chat feature is free. There is no cost. There used to be a cost for the chat feature, but there is no cost anymore. So I'm not sure where you got that from. That's because he says here, we were with another family. We got the surf and stream. They got the chat, and we couldn't communicate. Again, the chat feed. This is wrong, so it's okay. I'm not. I would just say this: if you don't have the internet package, you can still chat. If you have the internet package, you can still chat. All you have to do is just open up the Royal Caribbean app and go to the chat feature and just activate it. You also sometimes need to add there's an option in there to like allow people who aren't linked in your reservation to talk with you. Basically, if you don't link your reservations before the cruise, it's like privacy mode. They don't want randos texting you, but there's an option to get around that. And I suspect strongly that's what it is. But nonetheless, chat feature in the Royal Caribbean app is included. So let's put that there. All right, next ones. Number 2, can't keep children in Adventure Ocean all day on sea days because they close for lunch and for dinner. That's only when at port you can keep them all day. We made a reservation for lunch with just the adults during a sea day and had to add the kids. Yes, this is true. Adventure Ocean on a sea day, their hours are 9 to 12, 2 to 5, and then 7 until, well, technically 10, but then they do late night hours. You're right. You're absolutely correct on that one. It's, I don't know if it's I mean, you got to feed, basically they don't want to feed your kids. It's not they don't want to, they're not going to feed your kids. And that's the idea behind it. So you're absolutely right. Number 3, print out everything. Parking, shore excursions, dinner reservations, COVID results. We had an issue at Dolphin Discovery in Cozumel having information with me in print, expedited the resolution. There you go. Number 4, spending in foreign currency saved us 25%, both in Cozumel and in Costa Maya. Having Mexican peso saved us a lot of money. Many times the US dollar posted rate is significantly higher than the US dollar equivalent in local currency rate. I did the math, and using the rate I paid for pesos through my bank, it saved me a significant amount of money versus the US dollar rate. I understand this may not always be the case, but when I went, the US exchange rate was very favorable. You're not wrong. I would just argue it's not worth the effort. Like, yes, you're correct. You're going to do better with pesos because a lot of places, when you go to some rando place that's selling souvenirs in Mexico, they're not giving you the most competitive rate out there by any means. You're absolutely right. Here's the thing. I don't want to go to the bank to exchange pesos. I don't want to have leftover pesos. I just want to I'm willing to suck it up for the convenience factor and also not to have this leftover money with you. I would add though, when you're going in any country, Mexico, Europe, anywhere, and you get the option with your credit card, because I just use a credit card with no foreign transaction fees. When you give the choice, do you want to be charged in local currency or US dollars? Always choose local currency because your bank, your credit card is going to have a pretty good exchange rate there, and that can make up the difference you're talking about. Number 5, if you lose a pool towel, ask the stateroom attendant. They usually have an extra. Not sure how we lost one, but our stateroom attendant was able to get us a replacement. and we only need one, but that's how many we wanted. Yeah, that can work too. I mean, at the end of the day, that pool fee the towel fee that we're talking about, right? Because if you don't return your pool towels at the end of the cruise, you'll be charged $25 or whatever it is. Here's the thing. That fee is for like people who flagrantly, like, you know, they take out 8 towels, don't return any of them, and are like, whatever. If you go there and you say, listen, I'm sorry, my kid put the towel somewhere, I don't know where it is, no big deal. They'll almost certainly, and your ship attendant will do the same thing. Your tip is fine. It's not wrong or anything. I'm just saying you could probably also just go right to the towel dude and also give them a good story. Number 6, travel insurance. Pick the start date and end date from when you leave and arrive back home, not when you leave the port. This is a good tip. When I compared the price of adding an extra couple days to our trip, it did not change the total price of travel insurance. Yes, we were still in the US and we had medical insurance, but if anything had happened, our deductibles, copays, and possibly other expenses not covered by traditional insurance would have been covered. Absolutely true. Great point. Travel insurance kicks in, I think, when you are a certain amount of miles away from your house. So if you're doing a pre-cruise, like you're cruising out of Miami, right? And you're coming out from Columbus, Ohio, Craig Hart. You would be able to, if you're spending a couple days in Miami, that would be covered. So absolutely, you should start your travel insurance policy the second you leave your house and end it the second you return to your house there, for sure. Number 7, bring a digital clock. It was nice knowing what time it was in our stateroom. Yeah, cruise ship cabinets don't have clocks in them. And your phone is good, but it's sometimes nicer to be able to just quickly glance and see it. And lastly, bring 2 pairs of sunglasses. I misplaced mine at one point, and the other of the family we were at with lost hers. It was a good thing everyone in our family brought 2 because we shared them. It's a really good tip also. Wow, this is fantastic. Thank you, David. Really, really good stuff there. Appreciate your tips and suggestions. Thank you for the email. Thank you for everybody for checking out this episode of the Royal Caribbean Blog podcast. Of course, you can always send me your emails to be read eventually here on the podcast by sending them to Matt, M-A-T-T, at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, Matt at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Until next time, we'll talk again real soon.